Hi, I'm Lance Lambert. Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Vehicle Show. We are in Mountlake Terrace, Washington at the Terrace Car Show. This is an annual show. It's a great show. It's on grass. It's in a park. You couldn't ask for a better location. We are really glad to be here, and we're also really glad to have Bill Lowe here. Bill is the guy who's the head of this whole thing. Hi, Bill.
Great. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having us out today, and tell us a little bit about the car show.
It's our 22nd annual. This is going to be the second year we've had some bad weather, but we've got a good EMC out here today taking care of the show for us, and everybody's having a good time.
Oh, the weather's been real iffy, but you have a decent turnout here today and a real variety of cars. But speaking of variety, behind us is a Corvette speedboat that belongs to you. Tell us about it and how it came about.
Well, it's a 67 Corvette that I slung over the top of a 62 Sabercraft. The Corvette was slightly wrecked, and I built it as a seafair prop. And since then, 28 years later, it's still in one piece, and I get around quite a bit in it.
Is it as simple, and I'm sure it wasn't simple, but you just took the top half of the 67 Corvette and the bottom half of the boat and married the two of them?
Pretty much. All it took was a little beer and a lot of pizza.
What kind of reaction do you get from people when you're cruising around, both at a trailer, at a car show, and on the water? What do people react?
They react about the same. Everybody kind of gets blown away. They can't believe what it is, and it attracts a lot of attention.
Well, it's attracting a lot of attention today, as are all the cars here. So thank you very much for having us out today. And thank you very much for watching the show. And you're going to do what we do every week. You're going to meet some neat people, see some neat cars, hear some good music. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. Jeff Green, I have seen this car at many shows, and it always throws me a little bit of a curve. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Right, this is a 1978 Australian Ford XC Falcon Cobra. It was the brainchild of Edsel Ford II when he was running Ford Australia at that time. They were going to finish the hardtop production, and they were trying to think of something special to do, so they did 400 cars. This car being number 349 of the 400 cars. Of the 400, 200 cars were 351 Cleveland engine cars, and the other 200 were 302 Cleveland. Only in Australia did they do a 302 Cleveland, meaning they de-stroked the 351 to get it under the 5 litre limit for insurance purposes.
Were the motors built in Australia or built here and shipped there?
No, they are built in Australia. The engine blocks are a higher nickel content in those blocks, and hence were then shipped back to the US for NASCAR use.
People come up to this, I suppose, and before they realize the whole Australian connection, or that the steering wheel's on the right side instead of the left, do people stand there just mystified trying to figure out what it is?
Well, at first they think it's like a Mustang 2 painted like that, and then they go, the steering wheel is, they say it's on the wrong side. I go, it's on the right side, you know. Yeah, it's then they're looking around, they're going, what is it? And then they go, oh, this is the same body style as they used for Mad Max. And the car was the same body style, which they put a fiberglass nose on it, and then the blower through the hood. And so most people recognize the body style from that who are Mad Max fanatics.
And I imagine the next question is, how did the Australian car end up here?
Well, when I moved, I brought the car here with me. And, well, the truth is, I had another one of these, and I said to my wife, hey, I brought you a car. And she goes, really? But yeah, that's how it came here. And, yeah, it's a wonderful part of our collection.
She's usually with you at shows with her right-hand drive unusual car, so she's taking the day off?
She is taking the day off. We just came back from Europe, and she's a little jet-lagged at the moment, yes.
Performance on this, how's it handle? How's it go?
It's about 300 horsepower at the rear wheels. This is a C4 automatic, power steering, air-conditioned car, but with manual wind-up windows and intermittent wipers. So it's, if you go by build numbers, it's one of 3 cars.
And when you pull up to a light and you're on the right side of the car, what kind of reaction do you get from people on either side of you?
If I'm on my own, there people are looking, and then if it's with my wife with it, and she really hates it when I do it, a burnout, she goes, because they go, hey, that chick's doing a burnout. Yeah, and what's really interesting is if you are driving down the freeway and she turns and looks at the other car going the freeway, keeps looking, they will put their foot on the brake.
So you're having a little fun with it.
We do have a little fun, but we just love going out to car shows and talking about the cars. A lot of people didn't realize that Ford Australia was Ford Australia. It wasn't a car built here and then shipped down there. So.
Well, Jeff, thank you very much for bringing a little fun here to this car show. This is a very, very unusual, very cool car. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Eric Seward, I love 58 Chevrolets, I love stock 58 Chevrolets, and I love this color. Tell us about this car.
This has been a lifelong dream for me, actually. I had a car similar when I was 16 in junior high. So ever since then, I've been wanting to get it back. And I befriended a collector in Illinois several years ago who just so happened to have this in his showroom. And I pursued him until he finally sold me this car.
The design of it is the most striking thing about 58 Chevs, Impalas especially, but the color of this, I've seen the color before, it's not that rare, but you don't see it often. What color is it?
The color of this car is clay coral, and it is a stock Chevy color.
And you have it looks like an AMT 3-in-1 kit in that you have the dual antennas and fender skirts on it.
Yes.
Have you had to do anything to this?
This car is an all-original car. It's been sitting for many years. And so since I purchased the car, I had to replace the valve seals. And so what I did, I had Chevy Bowtie do a complete motor job for me because it sat so long and everything dried out. Likewise with the transmission, all the seals were dried out, so I had it all done, brakes redone, so that, for safety reasons, driving highways, that sort of thing.
Sure. What is the engine in it?
It's a 283 power pack, 4-barrel.
And the original miles on this?
It's 21,932.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
When you go to car shows, I wouldn't call it a rare car, but it's not one you see all the time. But any kind of reaction? You ever have people that don't know what it is?
Not really, but I do have a lot of people say just what you said. Don't see many of these around, and a lot of people do remember it's the first year for the Impala. And of course, it's a one-year body design, and a lot of people love that.
What's the most interesting thing that's ever happened at a car show with this car?
It would be at Ezequiel. I had the privilege there of winning one of their all-made trophies with the clock, the piston with the clock. I thought that was a pretty nice highlight.
Out the XXX drive-in?
Yeah, yes it was. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to show us your beautiful 1958 Chevrolet Impala. So thanks for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Sean and Sydney Strimple, this is a really cool 1928 Roadster pickup, and unique is not a strong enough word to describe it. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I got it from a guy down in Woodinville. So I actually traded a 1965 Ford Mustang straight across for it. And don't miss the Mustang much, because this is one of a kind, and I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Lots of 65 Mustangs, one of these.
Yes. From what I have seen in the car shows, it's one of a kind so far. So
Off camera, you said to me that you were surprised at the attention that this got and that we were interested in having it in the show. I would think you've gotten so much attention with this that you would even expect it.
Every show I take it to, it's a complete surprise to me on how people react. Anywhere from the elderly people who were in the Army, they spent a lot of time around it because of the military type setting with it. Everybody likes it. It just brings a smile to your face.
Does this bring a smile to your face, Sydney?
Yes, it does.
Are you going to be driving this to high school in a few years?
Hopefully.
A little negotiating in the future here. Power plant, looks like you got a Buick tucked under there.
It is. It's a Buick. It's a 1953 322 Buick. It's got the motor and the transmission in the rear end in it, so in the Ford frame.
So you've got the pinup thing going on the side. You've got the salute to World War II. You have some real bomber stuff going on in there. Tell us about it.
Yes, I got the bomber gas gauge on the dash. Got the oil pressure gauge. And I got a few other things in it, flashlights and military stuff that actually I put in it to match the car. So it's kind of cool. I got the bomber seats, actually came out of the B-24 bomber. The interior came out of the bomber, but they made it, put it together and made it special for this car. So there's actually some authentic bomber stuff that goes with it. It's pretty cool.
Where do you find bomber stuff? I mean, just go online and put bomber in and it becomes available?
To be honest with you, I really don't know where to get it. I don't know if you can get it. The car came with the stuff that's in the car, the interior and the seats, and the gauges were in it when I got the car. So it's pretty cool.
How's it drive?
It drives really good. Had a few problems with it. Had a different battery in it, which really didn't belong in it, so it wasn't charging right. So the electric fan wouldn't work. It would overheat. And I'd have problems. So then I put electronic ignition in it. So every show I went to, I never made it. I got to tow it home, I think, 10 times last year.
Sydney, are you prepared for what it takes to have a car like this? Are you going to have any problem having this towed home 10 times?
I don't think so, hopefully.
And would you rather had the Mustang back or this?
I'd rather have this.
All right, you've obviously been a good father here. You've raised her properly.
Yeah, I try. Her mother is the kingpin to her success.
Well, Sean, thank you very much for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show. This is a very unique Roadster pickup. And Sydney, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I think all the viewers that own old cars and go to car shows always have those people out there at shows that they see repeatedly, and you always take some time to chat because they're really fun people. Well, Herb Barsamian, you're one of those fun people that I always chat with.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to see you at the car shows, and you do a great job, and we all appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Herb. Your 30 coupe is a very, it's kind of unusual. You know, you've got a few things on it. It's a hot rod, but it's not totally hot rodded out. So tell us about it.
Well, I've had this car for 51 years, and it's been restored in '92, and I haven't touched it yet. And it runs every morning. It starts every night, and my wife go out on it, and like on a date. And we've been together 62 years, so what else could I say is better than that?
Yeah, had the same wife, same car. And you're the smart guy. I'm the guy that buys a car, dumps a whole bunch of money into it, and then gets everything right for the next guy.
Yeah, but, you know, you're one of a kind, too, so you belong in this automobile business here.
Tell us about the running gear on this.
Oh, it's got a V8 Chevy, a 283. It's got 9-inch rear end Ford. It's got disc brakes in front, hydraulics in the rear. It's got Vegas steering and a banjo steering wheel. And other than that, it's up to Pacific standard for a hot rod. So.
And you kept the rumble seat.
And I have a rumble seat, and it's quite an attraction.
Do you have grandkids that get to ride around back there?
Yes, they do. They ride around, they climb in it, they climb out of it, and they all want to ride in it. So it's a great asset to this 1930 Ford.
Are they deciding who's going to get this in the distant future?
Well, you know, I got 6 grandsons and 6 are boys, and right now I'm not even thinking about it. I don't have the time to worry about them right now. So.
Unusual color. How did you arrive at this?
Well, I arrived at this when I was in high school. I had a 36 Ford convertible, and it was a green Ford color. And I looked over all the color charts, and we found this to be the closest to it. So I said, I'm going to have it painted the color I had my 36 in high school. And this is what it came out to.
And I referred earlier to it's not a complete hot rod with the front bumpers the way they are, or the both bumpers the way they are, and the running lights, and the hood ornament, and you kept the gas filler cap. It just sort of looks like a real, like a hop-up kind of.
It is a hop-up. We wanted to keep everything on the outside as original as could be, and except for where you can't see, we got the other components. So it was quite a job.
Well, Herb, thank you very much for sharing it with us, and I know I'll see you at the Linwood Cruise In, or Aquafest tomorrow, or one of the car shows, because we always run into each other.
Right. And you're a wonderful, wonderful interviewer, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Herb. What a great time we had here at the Tour de Terrace Car Show in Mountlake Terrace, Washington. A big thank you to Bill Lowe for having us out today and all the people of Mountlake Terrace that helped put this together. And a big thank you to you, because if you're not watching, we don't have a show. So I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye-bye.